Okay, so hi, my name is Rebecca Cramer, and I'm really excited because today we're going to be talking with Natalie Garcia here. Welcome, Natalie. So, Natalie, just to give you like a little bit of information about Natalie, she is a woman's lifestyle coach and CEO of our Best Year Ever project. So today we're going to be talking about how you can tackle things in your life as a busy entrepreneur, things that get in your way. I know time is like a major problem for most entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
me included. So Natalie, maybe you can help me introduce yourself and welcome. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And I've been following you for a couple months now, I feel like. And I really love your content and your servant's heart. I think that as entrepreneurs, we tend to have that in the beginning, and just having that connection with you, I really felt like I resonated with your content. So thank you so much for introducing me and for bringing me on here. And hopefully I can serve your community in some way today. A little bit about me. So I am a mom of three myself, and I come from a nursing background and also in the military. So all my experiences I've had in the last 10 plus years brought me to where I am today as an entrepreneur, because I was struggling on juggling all those hats and roles that I was trying to manage, not only as a leader in those professions, but also in at home as a mom, as a parent, as a wife. And I kind of lost myself through that process. And it was when I hit kind of like rock bottom almost in my marriage and parenting in 2014 that really made me pivot, especially the way I was doing things, because I was burning out. And I think entrepreneurs can relate, because we give so much to our passion, and often it tends to be very difficult to kind of, and I don't like using the word balance, because that word is not true. It doesn't exist.
That's not, I feel like the word balance is like, to an entrepreneur, it's just like it's not a reality anymore, you know?
That's why, like, and I used to preach that before I became, like, I was like, that is impossible. And I'm not a person to think that anything's impossible.
Yeah.
But balance is not the right word. It's more harmony and rhythm. And so now I teach very busy parents how to find the harmony and the rhythm in their schedule, so that they're feeling empowered and also joyful. Because I think at the end of the day, isn't that what we're all searching for, is happiness, in some deep level?
Of course, we all are. I mean, it is a struggle to balance, or what was the word they used? Harmony. Make all of the different things in your life like harmonize together, because you have as an entrepreneur, I mean, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're running a small business, even if you're an intrapreneur, even if you're, driving those sales for the company that you work for, being successful means that you're working your butt off, and that means that other things might suffer and relationships might suffer. I guess when it comes to how you got like your success, how did you, so this all started happening, I think you said 2014, like how did you get to this point, or how did you kind of start to see yourself becoming successful, not just as a coach is what you do, but helping the clients that you have, and kind of how do you help them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I was still working as a nurse in 2014, and all through my journey of becoming an entrepreneur, and becoming an entrepreneur was never my goal. But what ended up getting me to become an entrepreneur was I knew I wanted more time for myself, and I didn't have it. I was working 12, 13-hour shifts, weekends, holidays. So as a mom, I knew deep down one of my values was time with family, and I didn't have that. So there was this clash. And that was like the catalyst for me to start shifting my priorities. And
Yeah.
so my first step was simply being self-aware of what I truly wanted at the time. And that was, I wanted to work less hours or trade less hours for money, if that makes sense. I wanted to be able to give all of my time to a project or a passion of mine, but also doing it in a way that made sense for me to spend time with my family too.
Mm.
So I knew they weren't going to be the equal amount of time, but at least I had energy when I was present in my family. And at that time, I didn't. Sure, I had days off, but when I had days off, I wasn't there. I was checked out. I was completely checked out. And that's when I realized, like, I don't want to be checked out. My kids are just, their lives are just starting. I don't want them to remember mom as being the mom who used to, lay out on the couch on her days off because she was,
Yeah.
and my husband, my poor husband, got a brunt, majority of my brunt of anxiety and angry and resentment and all the negative things that came up because I was unsatisfied. I was unhappy with my balancing or finding that harmony.
Yeah.
So when I had that like aha moment, I was like, this is not what I want. This can't be it. I'm not there. That's when I started to first focus on me and taking care of myself physically because I wasn't. And it started with my health. The first thing that just shifted everything was, okay, I need to start working out and eating healthier. Sounds so like basic and like, everybody is like, yeah, everybody's trying to do that, right? But I know from busy entrepreneurs and busy parents and just if you're a busy lifestyle, your health ends up usually being the last thing that you focus on.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
I was just going to say, I think a lot of people can relate. Like, I mean, even my own self, I'm like, I can, yeah, I'll put my hand up. Actually, Gemma, so there's a couple people in the chat, Gemma as well, as saying like, that's totally me right now. I think that there's so many of us that can relate because, you just like, there's a drive inside of us to just like do what it takes to be successful. And sometimes it consumes us and we don't see outside of that until we see outside of that,
And that's where, as coaches, we have to dig deeper with our clients and finding out what are you in search of, right? Because there's a reason behind the hustle, right? Every person is hustling for something different. Is it money? Is it rank? Is it recognition? What is it? Because behind each thing that we're doing, we need to find a purpose behind it. And that's where we have to kind of figure out how we design our lives, is because we have to find out the purpose behind what we're doing. Because if we don't have a purpose, then all we're doing is working ourselves to the ground for what, right? But if you have a purpose and you have a specific mission, then that working hard season or giving it all season, you almost are justified in a way that makes sense for you, but also making sure that you're incorporating other areas of your life in that mission. So we all want to be successful in our businesses. We all want to, be millionaires. I imagine most people want to be in that realm. But I know that along with that, especially if you're a parent, that you also want to see success in your family. You want healthy relationships. You want to be healthy yourself. You want to have a healthy relationship with your spouse, your partner. And so how can you take the time to incorporate that time while you're spending 13, 14-hour days building your business? So that's where it's like you have to get super laser focused, because maybe you're spending so much of that time because you don't have the strategies to be super effective and efficient in the hours you do have.
Yeah.
So that's where, you have to be super intentional with your business hours. And, I help working moms, but they're all from all different professions, backgrounds. It's not just entrepreneurs. There's nurses, there's stay-at-home moms. And most of them do come to me when their life is in shambles. Like they have no focus. They're constantly, going from one thing to another, or they're multitasking a lot, which I think that we naturally do that anyways.
Yeah, naturally do that.
But it impacts our mental health when we do that. So So when they come and they come and seeking for a mom coach like myself, or a parent coach, the goal is to really figure out what is your focus in the season that you're in. So if you are in beginning phases of your business, are you in like 2-3 years into it and you're trying to scale, or have you already scaled and now you're looking to delegate more and just take your arms off the wheel a little bit.
Yeah.
So each season requires different aspects of you. And so do you know what you're focusing on in each season? That's where we really need to dig deeper.
And so, I mean, this is like a problem it's never not a problem for entrepreneurs, for people that work, for parents that work. It will always be a problem. What would be like 3 things that you could say, like, if I was going to tell you 3 things that you need to think about right now, if this is your problem as a busy entrepreneur, business owner, like manager, salesperson, mom, dad, whatever, what would those kind of 3 like top things that you could suggest so that someone could get back into control?
Well, I mean, I'm going to bring it back to health. Number 1, are we sleeping enough?
I'm bad at that.
I believe sleep is like, it tends to be a problem because, again, it's all tied back to other aspects. But first thing that I would say is how well is your sleep? Are you sleeping enough? Is it restful sleep, or is it, on and off throughout your night? And then you're hustling throughout your day. So sleep is really important. Like if you're not getting that, then doesn't matter how hard you work throughout your days, and you can probably keep doing that for 3, 4, 5 months, but at some point you're gonna.
Yeah, I noticed that so if I have a problem with my sleep, my problem is that I like to stay up like a little bit later, and then what happens is I could either, if I stay up late, that means I don't get to work out. I don't get to, I learn in the morning. So I learn, I listen to audio while I'm on my spin bike. So if I stay up too late, I either miss that or I reduce my hours of sleep. And I have, my body will tell me, with a migraine or whatever else, you can't sustain that. You can't sustain not sleeping. Because the other thing that happens is, as an entrepreneur, if you're not gonna be 100% healthy, how can you not have brain fogginess? How can you be as efficient and effective with the work that you're doing? Isn't it better to get the sleep that you need so that you could accomplish tasks in a shorter time frame?
Exactly.
I have a problem with this one for sure.
I think you're not the only one. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to relate with this one because, I think the problem becomes is when we're children, we're drilled into there's a sleep routine and sleep hours, right? And our parents are very strict on it. And then once we have our freedom, then we just go crazy with it. And no one is telling me when to sleep, so I can go to bed anytime. So, right, we lose that discipline because we don't have that accountability anymore from our parents, so it's retraining ourselves in our body and our mind to say, well, what is my schedule? When is a good time for me to go to bed, wake up restful, and be productive throughout my day? So, and that brings me to my second point, right? If you're not getting the sleep, and I love that you mentioned this, you don't work out, right? You skip your workout because you want to sleep in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to that second point, which is your morning routines. If you don't have a very successful evening routine where you are empowered with your sleep, then you're most likely not going to have a very successful morning routine. Morning routine is really what sets the day. What you do the first couple hours of your day, it's everything. And so, and I, when I work with moms, a lot of them, I've asked this question, when do you guys wake up? And majority of them I wake up with my kids. I used to do the same too. And what I noticed when I did that, and when I switched to waking up earlier, is I noticed I was calmer. I was more level-headed. I didn't snap as quickly. And, I was kinder. A lot of my dissatisfaction came from not getting enough sleep and waking up last minute. So not having time for myself.
I totally agree with you on this one. Yeah. Big time. Like how early is early for you?
So everybody's different. And I have this special worksheet that I use to help moms or parents to decide what time they should wake up. It all depends on what you want to get done before the hustle and bustle of the day. So, for me, I have a few categories. I have to know what must get done, what do I need to do for others, and what would I like to get done every morning. So under those three categories, I write down those things based on those questions. What must I get done? What must I do for others? And then what would I like to get done? And then under each item, I kind of write down how long would it take me to do that? And that helps me to calculate about what time I should wake up every morning. And then that kind of then helps me then decide, okay, then that means I have to go to bed at this time.
Yeah.
So that's the key, right? It's like, doesn't matter how incredible your morning routine is going to look like. If you don't get to a certain time at bed, then that's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. It ruins your whole next day, right?
Yes, exactly. So for me, based on what I would like to get done or what must get done, what would I like to get done for others and what would I like to get done for myself, I need at least 3 hours. So my kids wake up at 7. And so technically I would have to wake up at 4 every morning. So that's how I figured out for myself what time I should wake up. Now I've shared that on social media through like TikTok videos and all that. And I got like more than half the people were like, you're crazy. Like, why would you do that? You're torturing yourself. People should help you in your house. There is so much science and also purpose behind that. It's not just about me being a slave to my family and trying to get things done in our home, but it really is to set my mind right before the day gets right.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like if you are like, wake up to the alarm, oh my gosh, like I have to run, go, hurry. You're also putting stress on your kids. I started waking up at 4:45. I was waking up earlier, but it was just that extra 45 minutes that I just needed. So I feel like as long as it's before 5, it's good for me. And then I have enough time to work out, to read emails, to get coffee so that I'm not just like in a rush first thing. And then I actually wake up my daughter at 6:30 so that she doesn't have to leave the house till 8. But so she has like a whole hour and a half so that she is in the same boat. Because my thinking was, if I feel like I have to have this much time to get ready and like maybe chill out a little bit for the day, like I think she should have that too. And things go way smoother in the mornings here, way smoother.
I love that. You translated your need and then into your kids, like they may need that too.
Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly, it's setting that example for them.
And think back to like waking up and just sleep. I mean, we all did. Like you wake up and you hurry up and get ready and go. Those days are so much more stressful, more stressful.
Absolutely. Yes. And that was my life. That was my life for like my daughter was 2.5. So for maybe 4 years, my first daughter. And then when my second came, that's when I knew, I was like, things need to change because I can't just continue doing that anymore because I was a miserable person to be around. My husband even threatened, like one day he just said to me coming home from work, because I was throwing dishes, after I got out of work and I was super tired, throwing dishes around. He's like, I hate coming home to you because you're always angry. You're always frustrated. You're always complaining. And that to me, like, it was like a dagger to my heart. And I'm like, how dare he say that? He doesn't understand what I have to manage on a daily basis. But, he had a point, because who wants to be with somebody who's miserable all the time? And where does that misery come from? And a lot of times our misery comes from some disconnection of our values and our daily, what we're doing on a daily basis, so that's when I saw that aha moment, and that was just like, it clicked. And I was like, I have to put myself first. I need to start with me before I serve my family, before I serve my community, my clients, anyone else. Like, it has to start with me, and I have to get super laser focused and organized. Right. And so and I hear it all the time, like, you know, people that have like ADD and they're trying to figure out like what to focus on, but they're constantly like being distracted and it's hard. So that's why the third point I want to add is knowing what your PQOs are, your prolific quality outputs. And I got this from Brendan Bouchard. I don't know if you follow him, High Performance Academy. He's an incredible entrepreneur who also focuses on increasing people's high performance, right? Making them higher performers. And one of the things that stuck for me forever years back was when he talked about prolific quality outputs. And those are the items of your day that must get done before anything else. And so this is where I decided, I was like, when can I get my PQOs done in my most like high functioning brain time? Because, you know, a lot of times we schedule things throughout our day and we don't realize that our brain is functioning at different levels throughout our day. Like it's high functioning. Sometimes it's subconsciously just doing things on autopilot. And then other times it's really low. Like there is nothing going on there. So we want to know when is our brain functioning at its highest capacity. For me, it's like the first 3 hours of my day. So that's when I decided, okay, my PQOs are for my business, right? Yeah. I need to prospect. You know, that for me, I don't like doing it. It's one of the hardest things I find hard for me. So let me get that done first before my day gets ahead of me. And if nothing else works and nothing else goes the way I planned, at least I got my PQOs done, which is the most important pieces of my business to keep it moving so that even if mom life comes into and twirls things out of control, I've gotten something done and I feel good about it.
That makes sense completely. So PQO, what did you call it? Prolific quality output. Yeah, to do like the hardest thing, which I mean, using that time for business development, that should be the most important thing of your day, especially like it's growing your business and paying your bills and hopefully impacting other people at the same time, which is really cool about what you do. So sleep, what you do in the AM, and then PQO or prolific quality output. Did I get that right? Prolific output. Yeah. I would agree that those are big deals.
And the PQOs, again, that can vary throughout the day. Like that's for me is when I get it done. But for any person who's watching and they're like, yeah, my high functioning hours of the day is like between 1 and 3, then perfect. You want to make sure that your PQOs are assigned to that time because that's the most important time of the whole day. Then just everything else that's kind of monotone, kind of autopilot, like house cleaning, like home management things, like for me, because it's very autopilot. Like I know what I don't need really any brain power for that. I know what I need to do. So for me, I put those things, one, I do have to have some energy for it, but that doesn't require much brain power. So that's how you have to break up your day. Like don't just assign, especially as an entrepreneur, like you have so much freedom to manage your schedule. And I think that sometimes that's the problem is we have so much
problem. I think that is a major problem actually.
Yeah, because you don't have that boss over you telling you exactly what needs to get done. Like you are the owner, you decide what needs to get done. And so that freedom can also be detrimental. So knowing and understanding what needs to get done each day and understanding when they should get done is like your number one priority as an entrepreneur. Like if you can do that, then you can then teach that to your team members so that they also can figure out how to manage their time effectively. Because sometimes, you know, we can give our team members certain items to do throughout their day, but then they procrastinate or, you know, there's things that distract them and then they don't get the most important things done.
Yeah. Right? Well, because I think naturally, I mean, we would choose to not do the things that we don't want to do first. But if you think about it, if you get the things like the PQOs, the things that are the most important, especially if you don't like doing them, if you get those out of the way before your day even begins, especially if that's your most valuable time, then the rest of the day is just so much easier to, first of all, at the same point, you're not having to worry about, oh my gosh, I have this thing that I have to do. I don't want to do it. Like that's not in the back of your mind. And if you get the hardest thing done, then the rest of the day is just going to be easy, right?
Exactly. And it really is, it comes down to, the mindset piece. Like if you can trick your brain to feeling like you've been super productive, and not saying that you haven't, but like you've gotten the most important things done, then it builds that confidence. And then hopefully becomes this ripple effect so that you get even more done throughout your day and more important aspects that you need to get to. But maybe today wasn't a priority, but you get ahead of the game. So really it's about tricking your brain. And that's like the biggest thing that I've learned through my journey is like anything that I teach moms or parents to do, it all comes down to mindset. And so how can I help you build your mindset right off the bat? And that's making sure you're getting the sleep, because when you don't sleep, you are really not in a good place mentally, right? And making sure you get those things done in the morning, setting up the time in the morning. And I think, like you said, personal development is super important. And actually for me, I enjoy personal development. I can do it all day, every day. So my thing was I would get distracted with personal development because that's easy stuff for me. And so instead of getting the hard stuff done. So I pushed my personal development down throughout the day because I was like, ooh, I love doing this stuff. Like, so I it's almost like my treat and my reward. Like if I don't get this done, then I can't listen to that. Though that can be kind of twisted, because if you don't get those things done, then you keep pushing off personal development, which you should never do. But yeah, so it's again, it's that harmony and rhythm,
and figuring it out for your own self individually, because I think you just like you just said right now, the fact that that's something that that you love it so much that you could bump it to later in your day. My own self, I know that if it's not happening when I'm on my bike, that it's probably not happening unless by some miracle I have extra time in the day, which just is it just doesn't normally happen. Now I wanted to ask you about one thing. I saw that you were you posted about doing nothing.
Yes. Yeah, like I want to know about that.
I don't know. I'm just curious. I don't know if it's right for me, but I want to hear about it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I didn't mention it because I want to make sure that first people are productive, right? But
yeah.
So the doing nothing came about because I suffer with anxiety. So one of the things that really impacts my anxiety is getting bogged down on all the to-dos, right? And again, like this is kind of what led me to this path anyways, but it can still be overwhelming for you to maintain creativity and also continue being productive. And so for me, I have to continuously remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. So my purpose and my mission, my vision, right? And so what ended up happening is because I was overfilling my schedule with every single hour, there was something I was doing. I started to practice, and I got this from a yoga instructor. She also talks about she trains on somatic. I forgot what it's called, but it's like somatic training. She trains on the nervous system, and she mentioned that doing nothing helps your body and your nervous system to calm down so that you gain greater clarity throughout your day. So I was curious about it. I was like, interesting. I've never thought about it that way. I always thought you have to do. So I practiced it. I was like, let me try it out and just schedule in my schedule time to not do anything. And let me tell you, it was hard because I am constantly having a million things on my mind. And so I started with like 5-10 minutes. I was like, all right, this is my time to literally no TV, phone off, drink something. I want to grab my favorite drink and just sit and look outside out the window. Like that's all I was doing, is looking at a tree. I don't remember what I was doing, but it was something where I was like, what are you doing? And it was so amazing, like to let go of that, like that burden of carrying so much on our shoulders, and it gives you that space and that grace to just let go of everything that you're carrying and just be present. Be here now and enjoy what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're drinking, what you're eating. There's other words for it. There's intuition, being intuitive,
meditation, it sounds like, the stereotypical meditation is like you listen to music or you listen to someone like walking you through it, but it sounds like similar to meditation where you're just taking time, like removing your brain from the busy. I imagine you don't have your phone with you when you're doing it.
Yeah, no. So I had to differentiate it from a meditation, because for meditation, for me, again, mentally, it's still doing something. Even though I'm like sitting there just working on my deep breathing, which I do. I do meditation every single day, at least 15 to 20 minutes. This was different. It was literally like me with no expectations of anything. It's just sitting there. I wasn't focusing on my breathing. I wasn't focusing on gratitude. I wasn't focusing on anything. And this sounds absurd, crazy. Like I don't get it. Yes, like you have to give yourself permission. Like we're in this society and this culture of like we gotta do. Imagine if you gave yourself just 30 minutes a day to just no expectation of anything. You know, it's incredible. It's incredible because you're gonna receive, and that's the reason why I did it. Was I call them quiet moments, quiet spaces in your schedule. You have to allow yourself space in your schedule to receive answers, creative ideas, and that doesn't happen if you're constantly in the motion of doing things. You know.
Yeah.
And it works the same way with like people that do sabbaticals, that have sabbaticals for a year or two. You know, they go and they do it on purpose so that they can, get, separate themselves from their work, and the incredible outcome from those moments, it has a greater outcome than if you just pushed forward through the stress and anxiety or whatever, your to-dos. So yeah, I would highly recommend to try it out.
30 minutes. Like, how did you say you started with less? Like, just to start?
Yeah.
I'm nervous about sitting. I'm just being honest. I feel like I would be like anxiety from like, I would be like, this is not how this is supposed to be working. This is not how it's supposed to be working. So would you suggest like people like build up to it, or just like, I mean, I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say definitely start with 5-10 minutes. And if you can involve nature in it, whether that's going outside the idea is, the way that it helped me was focusing on something. So for me, looking out the window helped me to focus on a tree, which helped me to not think of a million things I needed to do, that I was wasting time by just sitting there and doing nothing. But you'll realize, like through the practice, because it's like a practice with anything, like meditation is, it allows you the space to really think clear. And so you'll realize, like, on the times of the day when you feel like, man, I'm feeling burnt out, or I'm tired, or that fog, and you're just not making sense, or you're just distracted. That would be a perfect time for you to pause. And so that's what I do. I do it intuitively. So like if I notice my body and my mind is just racing, and I'm feeling like my heart is beating a little faster, then I notice, okay, I think I need a pause. And so that's what I call it. I call it a pause in my day. And I just stop what I'm doing, whatever it is. And I just go somewhere where I can just sit and do nothing. So try it. It's
I'm gonna try it. I'll let you know how it goes. I know how it goes. Very cool. So sleep and PQO, do nothing, take 10 minutes to start. Hopefully you'll get to 30 minutes and be able to just do nothing. So last question, just before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you, what are you the most excited about right now? Whether it's in your business, in your life, in everything that's going on in the world, what are you the most excited about?
Oh man, that's a good question. Man, I'm just excited about the potential for so many opportunities. I have big dreams and goals, and already seeing them happening in my mind is exciting for me. And just the possibilities of what it's going to open, not only for me, but for my family. I think we're all working here to leave a legacy for our family in some capacity. And for me to be able to allow my kids to see me on a stage and on a TED Talk, to me is like super powerful. It's not even about the audience or, you know, who watches it. It's about my kids and what they're seeing mom do and seeing their parent, what they're doing. And so for me, the potential of that is super exciting. And it really keeps me fired up every single day to just keep showing up, doing what I'm doing, and making sure I'm, again, super laser focused, so that that dream and that vision comes to life, and that it comes to life sooner than later, that I don't wait for the opportunity, but that I go and seek it. So I think that that's what I'm most excited about, is just the opportunities and the possibilities of what life has ahead of us. And I think after the last year that we've gone through, you know, with the amount of fear and unknowns of life, I think that I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm still here. And it reaffirms to me, you know, that there is a purpose in life, and that we all have an opportunity. If we're all here sitting, breathing, alive, we have an opportunity and potential to live out right now.
And it's very, that's, well, first of all, that's a very cool response to that answer. And so true. So true. Hey, question. I'm excited now. Okay, so you want to be on stage for a TED Talk. Are you, like, is that in the future? Are you working towards that? I'm really excited for that now.
It's not anywhere available to me yet, but I'm manifesting it.
I love that. I can't wait to see you on stage for a TED Talk. I'm really excited for that. And thanks so much, Natalie, for hopping on here today and sharing some really, I hope that everybody had a chance to take some notes, or, I mean, this will be available again, this recording, on all of my social media. But also, actually, I just launched my podcast, so this will be on my podcast as well. It's called the She Hustles podcast. So we'll be able to edit some of the, I don't know, who knows if we'll edit or just throw it up. But thanks so much for coming on today, Natalie. I'm so glad that you could join me. And just a quick, I guess, mention for everyone, please join my Facebook group, Social Selling Growth Masters. Follow my She Hustles podcast. And I believe I have Natalie's links. I'm going to throw them below in the video. And I would love to hear feedback or information if you wanted to learn more about Natalie and what she has to say. And I think that you brought great value today, Natalie. So thanks again. Thanks so much for hopping on here with me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.